I was diagnosed with bipolar when I was in my early 20s, well, late teens, early 20s. I remember going into work and I was working in an insurance office. And I had just had a hysterectomy because of some medical problems and it threw my hormones all out of whack. And it triggered my first real bipolar crash. And I went into work and I just didn't know what was wrong. The phone was too loud. The voices were too loud. It was like they were yelling in my ears. I couldn't concentrate. Normal tasks were too hard. Reading comprehension goes down when I get like that, and basic tasks get super hard. And here I am at work, and I'm trying not to act like anything's wrong because I don't know what's wrong. And I wait till my boss goes to lunch, and we're in an office with windows all around, and people in the parking lot can see, and there's other office in the parking that have that same parking lot. And I just run and lock the door and I turn off the lights and I crawl under my desk so no one can see me. And I cover my ears and I rock and cry because I have no idea what's going on. 30 years ago, people didn't talk about mental illness. They didn't talk about bipolar. They didn't talk about needing medication as something that was normal. It was something to be ashamed of. And I didn't know anyone in my family with a mental illness. I didn't know any of my friends with a mental illness. It was just all out of the blue. And um, and I didn't want to admit anything was wrong. I didn't want to be embarrassed. I didn't want to embarrass my family. And so I waited till the end of lunch and I tried to get through the rest of the day. And I went home and I closed myself in my room and I just hid there in the quiet until the day was over. And the next day was better. So I thought it was a fluke and I thought I could ignore it. But it wasn't the last time it happened. It happened again. And then again. And one time it happened when I was babysitting. And I knew I wasn't in a good place and I had to call my sister and have her sister-in-law come and get the kids. And my pastor took me to the emergency room. And trying to explain it to my sister when I got home. She was pissed because I tried to pretend it didn't happen. I was embarrassed. And I still didn't know what was going on. And my pastor recommended a therapist, and it took seeing them for a while before they figured out that I was bipolar. bipolar is weird, mental illness is weird, and people aren't very receptive at all. Like I said, people didn't talk about it much then, and there's this huge stigma with it. And it's hard for people who are dealing with it to understand because you can act normal one day, and then the next, you are not rational. You could be crying over something that's totally stupid. You can do things that are completely out of character. I handed my infant niece off to a complete stranger in the mall because I wanted to go look at something. And the poor woman was totally panicking, thinking she was going to get accused of trying to kidnap my niece. She quickly handed my niece off to my sister, and I don't remember it. I don't remember doing it. I don't remember the fallout. I'm sure they yelled at me for it, and I don't remember that day at all. And so my family, when they react to my being bipolar, they're not reacting to just one incident. They're reacting to what happened just now, and they're reacting to things I don't even remember happening. Mental illness is, it's not something you can control on your own. It took me 20 years to find the right combination of meds, mostly because they didn't invent them until recently. I didn't find the right therapy until 5 years ago, and I've only been stable for the last 3 years. I haven't been suicidal in 3 years, and that's the longest stretch since I was 18. And it wasn't because I was looking for attention. It wasn't because I was manipulative. I would wake up so depressed I could barely move, and it hurt to breathe. And nothing caused it. Nothing the day before would lead to that level of emotion. So, if you're dealing with mental illness, first of all, hang in there. Just because you haven't found the solution yet doesn't mean you won't. Second, if you've tried medications and they haven't worked, don't give up, because I had to try quite a few before I found the right ones. They had side effects. One of them put me to sleep while I was driving and I almost got into an accident. One of them made my legs give out underneath me and I fell. One of them made my body jerk like I was having a seizure. There are some weird reactions you can have, but if I didn't go through those, I wouldn't have found the ones that worked. The ones that make me have a normal daily life. If you haven't found the right therapy, find another therapist. Find someone that works with you, that clicks with you. Not everyone will. Not everyone's gonna be the right fit. Use the resources in your state. Get a life coach. Get help wherever you need it. I am currently and have been for the last 3 years living in a group home because it gives me extra support. I'm about to graduate, which is nice. I've been stable long enough that my therapist, my life coach, and I all feel comfortable with me living on my own again. But it was a step I had to take to get stable. You do what you gotta do. I had to be hospitalized 3 times. It embarrassed my family, and I got accused of using it as manipulation, and there was a huge family fallout the last time I ended up in the hospital. And yet, if you need the help, if you need the support, if you need to go in just long enough for them to do an emergency fix on your meds, then do what you gotta do to protect yourself, no matter what anybody else says. You have to take care of you. If you broke your leg, you'd go to the hospital. If you had a heart problem, you'd take medication. If you have a mental illness, you have a physical or hormonal imbalance in your brain. It's a medical issue. And doesn't matter what other people think about it. You just have to deal with what you were born with or developed later and find a way to live a good life, no matter what it takes. So don't give up. There's always hope, and there's always medicine is always coming up with something new. So if what they have for you right now isn't working, keep moving forward. They'll figure it out. And stay close to God. Please stay close to God. He's stopped me from committing suicide multiple times. He's helped me put the pieces back together when I've lost everything and everyone. I wouldn't trade that relationship for anything. Not anything. I wouldn't be here without him. And I love him. And I am so grateful. And I know that he'll be there for you too. If you reach out and you keep reaching out. So I love you guys. Hang in there. Be kind to yourself. and keep moving forward. And I'll see you guys soon.